So continuing on from the last video, I continued my invasion of the Philippines, knocked out their army, and after a few more islands and provinces taken, I conquered the rest of it and annexed what I needed. Only just what I need. Again, I don't like to take excess territory, as you all know, and so I just used up my remaining war score and then just called it a day and made peace with them. So now that conquest was complete, leaving, meaning that I didn't really have to worry about, or sorry, not that I didn't have to worry about, but now my remaining targets were in Southeast Asia and India, right? And so for the next couple of turns, I spent, just letting my army recover from this whole thing. And it's around here, I think it's around here that I realized, or never mind, it comes later. Don't worry. Don't worry, I'll explain what it was. So I decided to go against Thailand, despite them being allied with Cambodia. And so they take the offensive against me, which pissed me off quite a bit because I actually had trouble catching their army for a while. Like they went all over the place. But I finally caught them in one of my islands and then proceeded to just invade their lands, after knocking out their army, alongside Australia, of course. And after that invasion went well, it was honestly, guys. I'll be honest. From this point on, you'll notice that like most of the invasions are kind of just really, really easy. Like for example, this Thailand invasion was really simple. Later on, I invade Cambodia, but right now that's not possible because they're currently under a peace deal. And I can't lie, I have mixed feelings about the whole um, when you're in a war, you can't take the territory of other countries. But then, like, it also works in the other way where other countries can't take the territory of yours, which I noticed has helped. Anyways, here's where I noticed that. I was looking through the formable, like, to form the civilization. I noticed Australia was still there. And I think I alluded to this in in the previous video. But this one Christmas Island, okay, that Australia still owned, and I, by the way, who I'm allied with, I couldn't do anything about that. It sucked. And okay, now sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I invaded Sri Lanka. So yeah, that happened, and I managed to take them over even before Myanmar got there. And now I was faced with an issue. I could not do any further expansions because my next two targets would be India and Cambodia or Myanmar. Those are the next possible targets. So what I did in preparation for my war with India, for the gigantic war that I would have to fight, I just started spamming the hell out of temples, like it's insane. Yeah, it was honestly just excessive. But yeah, I wanted to spam all of that so I can get my income to like an insane amount, so that I could field a gigantic army. And I think I built out every single province in my like the entire empire that I've created, just to like increase their revenue. And of course, I hired some new advisors because I realized they were missing. So then, with with my army ready to invade Cambodia, I took them over, which I mean, honestly, it was really easy. I mean, even Thailand's weakened now. So I just took over Cambodia, took the provinces I needed, and then puppeted the rest. Same story as Vietnam, basically. And with that completed, like again, I'm going like in a row essentially of all these Southeast Asian nations that I need to conquer. Last one being, of course, Myanmar. But for now, I just like stopped and waited around for a bit. Again, just to let my army recover, which I don't understand why it didn't recover like instantly, especially because I have the required like manpower. But then I realized, yeah, Australia, okay, Australia stopped being allies with me, but I bribed them into being allies with me again. And now you might be wondering why I did that. Well, that's because I intended to fight Australia last for that one island. And so I needed to fight India and Myanmar first, where I would still need the help of the Australians with their, they even have like a decently sized army. of about 60,000 people. So I wanted their help, which is why I kept them as an ally. So now I took over all of the territory, like all the provinces that I need from Southeast Asia, meaning now I literally had no other choice except fighting either Australia or India, one or the other. And Australia I'm allied to, so you can guess who my target was. So in preparation for the war with India, man, I was like scared because India is stronger than me. Like it would be the first nation that was higher ranked than mine than I am, that I'm going up against. So I wanted to make sure that I was absolutely ready, in terms of my military. See, like I had my economy, sure, but then now I needed to build up my army even more. And so I started, I went through the different legacies that I could choose. And I think I took some time trying to think of something. But yeah, this, like, now I just waited until all those economic buildings would get constructed. And I started constructing a few research, but then, like, I realized there was a cap on research, so I started upgrading all my capital city buildings instead. And see, you see this? You see the power difference? I'm five. I'm ranked five in the world, and India's two. Right? You see why I was like, I was so worried that I'd lose everything. Because I mean, think, guys, in all honesty, this game, it's like you can spend like 20 minutes playing a game, building your country up, and then one war goes wrong, and it's all over. It's all over, and one war goes wrong. Anyways, I moved my army over to Sri Lanka just to prepare it to invade India, and I upgraded my military academy so I can get the max regiments increased. And the good thing, the this is genuinely a good tip, but like, increase your research. Like, normally I'd neglect it in the Age of History 2, I neglected that. But in this game, increasing your research means you get like crazy good weapons, and it just improves your army like by a huge amount compared to your rivals. And so, anyways, I'd raised 102,000 troops all at once, and so now I increased my army up to 230, which was the max I could go. I just wanted to cap it over there. I could have gone further, but I didn't want to. It was just, I don't know, felt right. And with that, I just spent some time making absolutely sure I was ready. And with that, even though I was weaker, even though I was weaker, I'd go to war with India, right? I decided on that. But then what made it especially sad was, like, India, man, India already had like good relations with me too. It sucked, but I had to insult them and declare war. And so I made it across the strait. And here is where you'll see the big battles of this entire gameplay, right? This is the main showdown. And I went up against army after army. But the main advantage I had was that my army was all in one piece. And to be honest, if the Indians, like, if they like combined all their forces into one giant army, I'm pretty sure they would have still lost. Loki. Y'all thought I was about to say they'd win, but no, it's because my army was, again, the technology difference was there. But again, they would have had a better chance had they put everything together. That's why even though, like, you see the AI split its armies up, personally I don't do that. Like, I keep my army as one piece, even no matter how annoying it can get. And the casualty ratio reflects that right here. The sheer difference about technology will give you. And so initially I intended on just taking a small bit of India, maybe like puppeting or spending my score on religious conversion or something. But then I thought, okay, I need to weaken them as much as I can. So I spent my score releasing as many countries as I could, from India, right? And then taking money, and then boom. Now the peace deal's over. And yet, despite all this loss, they were still number 2 in the world. But let that sink in for a second. They were still number 2 in the world. I don't know, man. It just made me go crazy. But anyways, on to what I did with the excess territory that I annexed, because I annexed more than I needed. Except I missed what I actually needed, which was the Nicobar and Andaman Islands. Turns out I needed that for my this. It's the exact same situation that happened with Australia, by the way. I needed those. I needed a small, insignificant island, which was preventing me from winning, like forming Majapahit. So yeah, that pissed me off. But while I did that, oh yeah, okay, sorry, interrupted by something. Australia went to war with France, and I refused their call to war because I didn't care at this point. So yeah, like in the sense that like I didn't want to spend my like I didn't want to waste my army. I mean, fighting like France, especially because it would take time to recover from that as well. And instead, what I did, and I forgot to mention this, I created like I re-released Sri Lanka as a puppet state, but then like to govern the excess Indian territory that I didn't need. And I even got pissed about my army, like my army lacking manpower, so I just started spamming conscription centers everywhere. That that did a little bit to help, but not too much, not crazy amount. But yeah, all that was happening. And I don't know if you notice, I think later on we'll see, but Australia gets absolutely eviscerated by France, which makes me a horrible ally, but it's okay. We don't care. The main reason I didn't care about that too much was one, because France is stronger than India, I think. Like, or at least I'd have to spend time fighting them. And two, is just I didn't need Australia to win anymore. And so I went through another round of recruitment once again because, I don't want to be overconfident. And yeah, France just immediately, like, they not completely eviscerated Australia. Anyways, I invaded India once again, but this time I think completely alone. I didn't get Australia to join me. And once again I wiped out their armies, but with even less of a struggle really. There wasn't really any struggle with doing this. And yeah, it was just free territory. Essentially, I was just conquering them again for for the sake of just three provinces, by the way. All this death and destruction for Chain of Islands. Welcome to Age of History 3. And so, yeah, this was a relatively, easy conquest. Like this wasn't as dramatic as the first one. The first one I was super like worried, but this time I just took the island chain and then I thought, okay, let me spend my score on something. But no, Puppet State, I needed 650 score. I didn't have that kind of score, so I just took war reparations and took a whole bunch of territory more. Again, the whole idea was I wanted to weaken them so that they wouldn't be able to, come back for the territory in the future. And I think even okay, I think at this point India became like it dropped in rank. For once, it actually dropped in rank, and I spent this next several minutes just handing like my puppet more and more territory. Essentially, just yeah, reorganizing the lands because I don't want to take extra territory, right? You guys know. And I decided to release Singapore as a new country with all of the territory excess. And so, yeah, now we have two puppets controlling Indian territory. And India finally dropped to the position of 15th in the world. And I moved my army out of there because I thought, oh, it's over now. I don't need to worry about it anymore. And so now I just sort of just took this as a break to chillax because, well, one, India is now, like, I'm done. I've taken what I need from India. And meanwhile, now I have to prepare for my war against France. And so I started, I started just checking everything, checking the legacy or what I could develop. Because again, they kept giving the notifications for it. And yeah, I just spent some time chilling. Really, not really much happening. And I looked over at France, just double checked, and I moved my army over to the French coast. Mainly because I realized it would be way like quicker to capitulate them if I like attacked their homeland directly. I built some of the wonders, and then I finally declared war on France after pissing them off. And so their entire army battled me in the sea, which unexpected, but sure. And just like that, I just wiped out their entire force just immediately, completely off the bat, like when the war started. And so that really boosted up my war score a lot, especially considering otherwise I'd have to take their big empire. And so, just like that, I took what I needed to from France. I made sure to get Christmas Island, which, by the way, the reason I had to fight France was because France took Christmas Island from the Australians. So, yeah, that happened. And then I used my excess score and just spent it on taking territory from mainland France and releasing, of all nations, East Timor. Why? I don't know. I just want to have fun with it. But, anyways, that concludes my gameplay for forming the Majapahit Empire. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.